The global fashion industry was sent into a wave of speculation and intense discussion after it was revealed that Jungkook, the global superstar from BTS, had signed a major contract with Chanel, an agreement that unexpectedly triggered significant changes for another iconic brand closely associated with him, Calvin Klein. The revelation quickly became one of the most talked about stories in entertainment and fashion media, not only because of Jungkook's immense influence, but also because of how one artist's career move demonstrated the interconnected power dynamics of luxury branding in the modern era. For years, Jungkook has stood at the intersection of music, culture, and fashion. His reputation extends far beyond his role as a main vocalist and performer. He is widely recognized as a cultural tastemaker whose choices resonate instantly with millions around the world. Whenever Jungkook appears wearing a particular outfit or accessory, sales spike almost immediately. Brands have long understood this phenomenon, but the full magnitude of his impact became clearer than ever when news of a Chanel contract surfaced and began reshaping perceptions around Calvin Klein. Before the Chanel announcement, Jungkook's association with Calvin Klein had already reached legendary status. Campaigns featuring him dominated social media timelines, billboards, and fashion editorials, redefining the brand's image for a younger, global audience. Calvin Klein experienced unprecedented visibility, particularly in Asia, Europe, and the Americas, where Jungkook's fan base spans generations and demographics. Analysts noted record-breaking engagement rates, skyrocketing online searches, and product sellouts within hours of campaign launches. Jungkook was not merely a brand ambassador. He became a symbol of modern masculinity and global appeal that Calvin Klein successfully harnessed. The sudden confirmation of Jungkook's contract with Chanel therefore sparked immediate questions. Chanel, a heritage luxury house with a long history of carefully curated ambassadors, is known for its exclusivity and strict brand positioning. The idea of Jungkook aligning himself with Chanel suggested a strategic evolution, both for the artist and the fashion house. Almost instantly, industry insiders began to examine how this move would affect Jungkook's existing brand relationships, especially with Calvin Klein. What made the situation particularly compelling was that there was no public controversy or dramatic fallout. Instead, the impact unfolded subtly but powerfully. Sources within the fashion industry reported that Calvin Klein began reassessing its global marketing strategy shortly after the Chanel deal became public knowledge. This was not due to conflict, but rather a recognition of how Jungkook's fashion narrative was evolving. Chanel represents timeless luxury, craftsmanship, and artistic heritage, while Calvin Klein is synonymous with modern minimalism, sensuality, and accessibility. Jungkook's transition into the Chanel universe signaled a shift toward a more elevated, couture-oriented image. Fans were quick to notice the changes. Social media conversations highlighted how Jungkook's recent public appearances reflected a more refined aesthetic, blending classic silhouettes with contemporary styling. While Calvin Klein's campaigns emphasized raw confidence and intimacy, Chanel's visual language projected sophistication and legacy. This contrast led many to speculate that Jungkook's role within Calvin Klein might naturally become less central as his fashion identity expanded into new territory. From a business perspective, the impact was multifaceted. Calvin Klein did not lose relevance overnight. In fact, the brand continued to benefit from the residual effect of Jungkook's influence. Campaigns featuring him remained among the most viewed and shared in the brand's history. However, fashion analysts observed a shift in consumer perception. Jungkook's Chanel contract elevated him further into the luxury stratosphere, and this inevitably reframed how audiences viewed his past and present brand associations. Luxury branding thrives on narrative consistency. Chanel's decision to collaborate with Jungkook was reportedly rooted in his artistic credibility, global recognition, and ability to bridge East and West seamlessly. For Chanel, Jungkook represented a new generation of luxury consumers, digitally native, emotionally connected, and culturally diverse. His presence brought renewed energy to the brand while preserving its core values. This partnership also reinforced the idea that modern luxury is no longer confined to traditional markets or archetypes. Calvin Klein, on the other hand, faced the challenge of maintaining momentum while redefining its ambassadorial strategy. Industry insiders suggested that the brand began exploring new creative directions, focusing on emerging talents and diversified representation to sustain its global appeal. Rather than competing directly with Chanel's high luxury positioning, Calvin Klein leaned into its strength as a lifestyle brand that speaks to individuality, freedom, and contemporary culture. Jungkook's fans, known for their loyalty and analytical engagement, dissected every detail of the situation. Many expressed pride in seeing him recognized by Chanel, viewing it as a natural progression of his artistic and personal growth. Others reflected nostalgically on his Calvin Klein era, celebrating the iconic campaigns that left a lasting mark on fashion history. The prevailing sentiment, however, was one of support, with fans acknowledging that Jungkook's success inevitably reshapes the brands he touches. The broader fashion industry took note of how seamlessly Jungkook navigated this transition. Unlike traditional celebrity endorsements, his partnerships feel organic, rooted in genuine interest and aesthetic alignment. This authenticity is precisely what makes his influence so powerful, and why his Chanel contract had such far-reaching consequences. It served as a reminder that in today's fashion landscape, celebrities are not just faces of campaigns, but active participants in brand storytelling. Media outlets around the world frame the story as a case study in modern branding. Headlines emphasize the domino effect of Jungkook's decisions, illustrating how a single contract can influence market strategies, consumer behavior, and brand identity. Marketing experts highlighted the importance of adaptability, noting that Calvin Klein's response demonstrated strategic maturity rather than reactionary panic. As the months progressed, subtle signs of change continued to emerge. Chanel appearances became more frequent in Jungkook's public schedule, from fashion shows to editorial features. Each appearance generated massive media coverage, reinforcing the brand's relevance among younger audiences. Meanwhile, Calvin Klein shifted focus toward innovation, digital storytelling, and collaborations that reflected evolving cultural conversations. Ultimately, the story of Jungkook, Chanel, and Calvin Klein is not one of loss, but a transformation. It underscores a reality that global icons like Jungkook operate on a scale where their personal growth inevitably influences entire industries. His Chanel contract did not erase his impact on Calvin Klein. Rather, it reframed it within a larger narrative of artistic evolution and brand synergy. In an era where fashion is increasingly intertwined with identity, culture, and global connectivity, Jungkook's journey offers valuable insight. His ability to transcend categories, pop star, artist, fashion icon, demonstrates the shifting boundaries of influence. Brands that collaborate with him are not merely seeking visibility. They are engaging with a cultural force capable of redefining perception on a global scale. The revelation of Jungkook's Chanel contract and its impact on Calvin Klein will likely be studied for years to come. It highlights how modern endorsements are no longer static agreements, but dynamic relationships that evolve alongside the individual. For Jungkook, this moment represents another milestone in a career defined by growth and reinvention. For Chanel, it marks a successful embrace of contemporary global culture. For Calvin Klein, it serves as an opportunity to innovate and reaffirm its identity in an ever-changing fashion landscape. What remains undeniable is that Jungkook's influence continues to shape conversations, trends, and strategies across the world. His choices resonate far beyond runways and campaigns, reflecting the power of authenticity, artistry, and global connection. As the fashion world moves forward, the ripple effects of this contract will stand as a testament to the extraordinary impact of one artist and the evolving nature of modern luxury.